As I'm sitting here trying to play some Xenimus tonight and get my friends started, just so I don't have to rehash this conversation over and over and over again, because there are a few of them that have never played before, I figured I'd make a really short video, like a quick start guide, on what to do, what to know, if this is your first time playing Xenimus, because it's an older game, and there's been a lot of advancements in the design of video games and how video games are built now. So some of these methods, such as like setting keys for your spells, so you can bind up your whole keyboard, are a little foreign now. So I just want to make sure that people know how to do that and can do it quickly. So throwing this very quick video together again. But I am back at the Xenimus main website. Something to note: before you create characters, get rolling, I would highly recommend you go to the spell section and just kind of read through these and see what interests you. Like say you think you might want to play a warlock, jump in here, see what levels warlocks learn spells, and the little brief description of what each spell does, and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, maybe I would enjoy that. So I'm going to use a warlock just as the example for this. If there's other classes that people have questions on, the game has changed in the 2 years that I haven't played it. Primary stats are different, all things like that are different. I'm sure there are special numbers that you wanted to get stats to get special bonuses. Those may have changed. I don't know. I haven't done the research yet. All that said, for this video, just getting started, figuring out what you want to play, come to Xenimus.com, go to spells, and then read through the class spells and see what interests you. So again, we're going to use a warlock as an example. I will fire up the game. Oh, maybe. As it loads. Here we go. So, look at that. Xenimus in all its glory. Some people would stop right here and uninstall, but don't let looks deceive you. This game is very good, it's very fun, but there is a little bit of a steep learning curve just due to the age of it. So, you want to create a new character? Let's create a new character. So, when you create a character, you want to keep, it's kind of like Dungeons & Dragons. You can be whatever race you want to be, that allows for a class, but based on what you're trying to be, I recommend choosing something that makes sense. And what I mean by that is, if you want to be a caster, you don't want to choose something that has agility already built in, because that's wasted. Agility does nothing for casters in this game. Same for strength. There might be a couple of items that have a strength or agility requirement to use it, but between shrines, which we can talk about later, and the Jalakian shrines, you can get high enough stat points to use anything that you might want to. So we'll choose minion. That's like the equivalent of a human, if I remember right. And we'll go to a warlock. So as you'll note, light and dark do not matter anymore. Everybody plays in the same area of the map. Well, it starts out in the same area of the map. Whenever you choose a class, warlocks looks like it's a little different. Yeah, so some classes, like a wizard, this little blue, purplish, red flashing, that's your primary stat. You want to max that out no matter what. And then you would go to your green stat and max it next. And then in the case of a warlock or a wizard, you would then go to wisdom, because again, you don't need strength or agility. For the sake of looking at the warlock that I said I would use as an example, we've got 3 greens. Just because I've been leveling a warlock, I know that my primary stat is now intelligence instead of wisdom. I believe back in the day it was wisdom. So you would max out your intelligence, because that's going to give you the most damage. It's also one of the stats that can go the highest. And then I know that to use a Staff of Varium at level 26, you want to have 20 wisdom for the requirement. So we're going to put 18 wisdom, because you'll get 1 wisdom stat from the wisdom shrine and 1 wisdom stat from Great Hall eventually. And then stack the rest into constitution, which will boost your health. We're going to have red hair. Red hair. What's up? We're saved on the server. Red hair. Yep, I'm Blaze. If you ever see me in the game, say hey. And here we are. So, there's a lot going on here. You have little quick bars that you can click to use spells. I don't recommend that because it's not effective for this game. The thing about Xenimus is it's very fast paced. It's a little slow to start. Levels 1 through 10 do not go particularly quick, but once you can like blink around and move quickly, then you will want to, and if you stand still very long, you'll die. That said, you're spawned, you're here, the game has begun. First thing you do, walk over to Rygeron right here, get the bug task from him, which I have, and you're going to want to kill 10 bugs. Before we go venturing out though, we should set some keys. This little square area is safe. This is like home base. You can't die on it unless certain extenuating circumstances occur, such as being evil. You turn evil from killing people. So that you won't worry about at level 1. So let's go into keys. So keys, you bind everything. These can be all your preference. It depends on where your hand rests on the keyboard more naturally. I, just from playing Xenimus for forever, tend to float towards the top left of my keyboard, so I change things to like the tilde to make my chat display, like my chat box display. Like I changed that. Just it's old habits, things that used to be certain ways. I get my stop action down here in the bottom right hand corner, and my switch weapon down just out of the way so I can use my other keys for more important things. Get F1 out of here. Put my map over on my numpad. Quest log over like. And like, you go through and set all these things. Info on other player, I don't like it on 1 because 1 is left click, 2 is right click. So I like to right click. It's the way it was originally. And I don't like to, like if I want to hit somebody, I want to left click them like that. If I hit them or want to hit them, I want to left click. It's just natural. You do whatever you want. You can, that's the beauty of this system is you can bind everything. You can do whatever the heck you want. You just kind of have to know what you're doing, if that makes sense. And it is, like I said, it's a steep learning curve, but I promise once you get rolling, this game is so fun. First person is something that he built into the game. I was going to say a few years ago, it's probably been like 10 years ago now. He made a first person version, which is fun. I think Xenimus 2.0 is kind of like that. All that said though, not needed for here, so I just throw it on like my insert key. View mode, that is something, yeah, puts you like straight top down, which is handy when you want to see certain things. So that's just setting your basic keys, but how about like your abilities, your skills? I expand all these out so I can see what I have. So I have my poison spell. Just out of personal preference, I like to put that down here at 5. And you only keep adding to these. So it started me out with a quick bar. Eventually this one I'll turn to my heal spell, and we'll just build this out. Other keys, and even your quick bar too, you can set items to certain keys. Other spells you get, whatever. And then way down here, text mappings. Text mappings are important. If you ever want to go in a portal that's not yours, you have to type -port. So you type it in. After you click, it brings up this little box. You type in what you want to type. Dumb Dance was an old emote. We'll see if it still works. So port, set key. I want it to be my left shift. And then set key. We'll set this as Z. So, oh yeah, there's my little emote. There's my Dumb Dance. And then I press shift. It says port. If somebody opens a portal, I can walk through it. This was implemented because people would player kill by porting people places that they couldn't survive. So let's kill this bug. Oh, there we go. So I poisoned him. You'll notice that I started spamming my spells. It's because that is the Xenimus way. You what is this? A shield? Yeah. If you do not come prepared to fight, you will die. So this is the bug task. These bugs are, oh god, I died. So there you go. It's really easy to die. You're level 1. All this said though, it's not hard to get rolling. People will help you if you ask for help. So let's get back here. Something I forgot to mention. I hate having this quick bar here. I hate having on-screen buttons. They get in the way. I accidentally click them and I die. So I go to keys, options. I turn quick bar 1 off. I take on-screen menu buttons off, and I click show experience stats. Now what show experience stats does is brings this little bar up here. It shows how much experience you've made, and then based on how fast you're killing things and how much experience you got for them, it does the calculation of how much you can get an hour and how long before, like TTL, time to level. So that is. Oh, come on. Is he not gonna? There we go. Okay. So you could just come and poison all these guys and run away. Eventually they will die. Alright, so we leveled up. Cool. And when you level up, you get a stat point. And when you hover over each item, it tells you what you get whenever you put a stat point into that. So strength does nothing for wizards and warlocks. Agility can help you not get hit as much, but in theory, you'll be blinking around, so you don't need to worry about getting hit if you're good. But don't compensate for not being good either. You would rather do more damage quickly so that you can kill people and survive than being able to dodge a hit here and there. But once you go through them all, remember Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom were green. Wisdom just gives you plus Wisdom. Constitution gives you just Constitution, but Intelligence gives you Intelligence and base magic power, so it's going to give you extra damage and a higher Intelligence. And I believe, I don't know if this is still true, but the more Intelligence you have, the more experience you get. That said, you level a little bit faster. Warlocks historically have always leveled very quickly, so that's a good thing to note. So we got our Wisdom, and we got a little more extra magic power. We're off to the races. Oh look, we unlocked some new spells. So we come down here. I've got buff spells, so we're going to set a key to, this is my personal preference. I usually set J, K, L, and semicolon to my buffs, because it's in a row. I can just quickly do my buffs. Let's see. Emissarius is it's like a census. You can sense evil around you. Emissarius next. That is if somebody killed you, like you were minding your own business, somebody came and player killed you in a player kill zone, then you could use Emissarius next on yourself. People in game just call it next, and it'll put a white or red arrow on your screen, and that points in the direction of the person that killed you. That's a neat little trick to hunt down who killed you. So, that said, that is the quick and dirty on how to get started quickly. Hopefully you benefited from it. You know how to set keys now, and turn in your first quest and hit level 2. So that is about it. Something I will note that is important are your marks. Marks are what you set so that you can teleport across this vast world. We're up here in this tiny little corner. There's stuff all over the place, and a lot of these places are dungeons, so the map is much larger than it shows here. There's an entire dungeon server that is unmapped that people have gone to the liberty of mapping online, but just another probably just as big as one of these quadrants that you can go and get experience and quest and find and unlock neat things. So the way you set marks is you type mark, and then you type 1, 2, 3, etc., all the way to 0. And so you can have 10 marks. Mark 1 is basically home base. You want it to be a safe place so that if you there are items that will teleport you to Mark 1. There's abilities that will teleport you to Mark 1. You want it to be a safe place in the event that you get teleported to Mark 1. You want to be safe. So that said, that is the quick and dirty on how to set up a new character and get rolling. So if there's any questions, you can always comment on my videos or at me on Instagram, whatever. Would love to field questions. If there's any corrections or critiques, I'm open to that too, because I haven't played the game in 2 years. So hope this was helpful, and maybe we'll make some more of these based on what my friends claim they need after they've been playing. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys.